And we have the ever present but almost elusive Guy Jackson coming up right now.
In the Camden Fringe Festival too, at the end of July, when you go to CamdenFringe.org. Okay. Once there was a filthy pilgrim. Now, he didn't care about being a so-called pilgrim, and he didn't care about being a so-called indentured servant, but he was still happy. He came across half the sphere of the world on a ship with briny water in the barrels in the hold. Along the way, he thought of a girl whom he'd seen on a horse, whose hair, the girl's not the horse's, had come down from her head in a dark waterfall. Each morning on the ship, the filthy pilgrim vomited into the restless ocean. As he did, he thought about how he despised his so-called fellow pilgrims, but how he was also happy. He thought about how once they got to the New World, he would throw his Bible at John Dare's head and scurry off to live in the forest. The filthy pilgrim vomited and murmured, "Soonest that he, governor, turneth the back of himself, goneth I." He was true to his plan. John Dare fired a musket at the filthy pilgrim, but missed. The filthy pilgrim was swallowed by the forest. Within a week, his clothes were gone, his skin was shredded by insects, he was near death with thirst and starvation, and a badger had bitten off his penis at the root. But he was still happy. Filthy pilgrim ran into the so-called Indians. They took him to their village, and put him in skins, and gave him food, and gave him a knife. He liked the knife, but he didn't like the food because he didn't know what it was, and he didn't like the skins because they were too scratchy, and he didn't like the Indians because he'd always been told not to. The Indians weren't too fond of him either. It only took 2 weeks for the filthy pilgrim to run back into the forest with arrows singing after him, and 3 weeks more for him to be again tattered and torn and closing in on death. But he was still happy. With his new knife, he carved on many trees. He carved what he imagined was the name of the girl with the dark waterfall of hair. He carved filthy words coupled with the name of his so-called king. But most of all, the filthy pilgrim carved the name of the Indian tribe. Perhaps the tribe hadn't agreed with the filthy pilgrim's filthy habit of stuffing mud clods up the hole behind the stump of his penis, but that didn't mean he couldn't like their name and the way it looked on a tree. So Croatan he carved, Croatan, Croatan, Croatan. Eventually the filthy pilgrim went into the earth. He lay and listened to the sounds of the entire sphere of the world breathing. She was his mother, and it was enough to lay and listen to the sounds of his mother breathing. Sometimes the still restless bits of his former fellow so-called pilgrims moved past him. The bits of his former fellow so-called pilgrims were inside bellies of worms, but they were still restless. You fools, thought the filthy pilgrim. He wondered about the girl with the dark waterfall of hair, and what had become of her, if she was just a collection of that hair and her bones. As for the filthy pilgrim, he was absolutely filthy by being the dirt and the dirt being him. But he was also so very happy. Indeed. Thanks